Haunted Hearing Aid. Recorded live by Luigi C. Russo, Chief Poet Officer of PoetLuigi.com. He will also comment on various entertainments recently consumed. And now, let us hear. Raccoon scratches into the dirt, seeking something, ground smelling. Voles scatter, mice matter, while owls swoop and carry off. One mouse escapes the clutch of a swooping owl, racing from the exposed fray of the yard, racing for sanctuary in the woods. Its home is in a tree, with many baby mice, scurrying quickly now. It sails and smacks into a boot, pronounced dead the moment on impact. The boot is too something living. From here the viewer pans, the dirt grass boot slowly looking up to see a clear, thorough silhouette of a man. As the viewer vaguely glimpses at the leg, it all disappears in a flash. Mouse dead, a prayer is said for the poor mouse. A prayer is said right before the window and house closes its lust shine of the day. Abruptly, the darkness is interrupted by a shining light. Turned on, it illuminates the whole countryside. Scene of a college campus in the town of K. A young buxom female strides across campus, wind whipping her hair into different factions. Some moments she has to move her strands, or flick her neck, or just let it be. Let it be. The campus she walks on walks about as simple, large black asphalt parking lot, green grass taken care of better than government's grass, plain looking sidewalks which are a continuous, depressing view of the upcoming class. She thinks to herself, maybe if these sidewalks were revamped with colors, the walk to class would be reminded of brighter things. Think about it. A sidewalk to the building of sciences could be painted with stars, planets, labs, Bengal tigers, dinosaurs, technology. Or the English building could be painted with letters, words, poems, pens, pencils, authors. Oh, what a wonderful world this college would be. Fancy thoughts for a fancy lady who, when she walks, her breast jiggles so. But her thoughts are on her upcoming class, not her tight-fitted light blue jeans, tight-fitted gray halter top. All males and even some females watch this woman walk. They love it. Plus they sense a kind of optimism in her being, a self-confidence. Male in 20s. Show me those jugs, I'm thirsty. Vanessa Morrison walks past, noticed the male's lips move, sensed what he said. Wasn't what is usually said at this time of day, so she smiles, because she has fully heard what he said, but because he is practically a nobody in her life, and pretty close to insignificant to the universe. It doesn't really matter. Vanessa Morrison smiles, very sexy, and answers with a wave of a very cute hand. Boring, tannish age building are beautified by her presence. The males laugh with a smile, thinking this woman is cool. She can take a typical sexist joke. And man, oh man, I'd like to just stare at those for 5 minutes, then get drunk after that. Vanessa Morrison marches on, occasionally singing songs in her head she heard on the way in the car. Many students, nearly all, walk throughout campus with headphones in their brains, ears, and on occasion most would see Vanessa Morrison not wearing any, and think to themselves, how odd someone of their generation not wearing what they are wearing. Not most, but some do ponder such difference. Vanessa Morrison does not have the luxury of 2 properly working ears. When she was little, she had lots of ear infections, which eventually led to hearing loss in her right ear. But her left ear had an even worse infection in her mastoid, in which an emergency mastoid removal, canal opening surgery almost to the point of ossification, thus a possibility of causing bad damage to maybe even the brain. At least that is what Vanessa Morrison remembers. She has seen so many doctors, each one more drastic than the next. Cancer, surgery, possibly stay the same, nothing to do. Don't listen to loud music. Don't put your head underwater. Don't use Q-tips. Vanessa Morrison always loved when she would see an ENT specialist that had a very thick accent. Doctors, how you do? What bring you here today? As time you here was years ago. What you do? What brings you? How often you get damage? Ah, no. So, no, ah, yes. Better yet, when doctors would inspect her ears, try to talk to her without her hearing aid in, or the doctor's back would be to her and talk to her, or while inspecting her left ear, probing around, talk to her. She would visualize what they are saying based on setting, time, year, fun words made out. If she would replay and doctor looked confused with her response, she would ask the doctor to repeat, then answer properly. Example: the season is winter. There is snow everywhere. The weather is cold. Vanessa Morrison is on winter break from KSU. Doctor actually says, "So, Vanessa, where do you go to school?" What doctor said, according to Vanessa Morrison, "Nessa, are you cool?" Vanessa Morrison's internal thoughts of what doctor said, according to Vanessa Morrison. How does he know my nickname? Why is he calling me by my nickname? Did he ask me if I'm cool? Maybe he's referring to it being cold. Yes, cold, because he's a doctor, and it would be unprofessional of him to ask me if I was cool, because I know he ain't with his pit-stained lab coat when he only has like 40 hanging out in the office waiting room. Vanessa Morrison answers, "Yeah, it's cold outside. Usually at this point, I'm in class studying up, looking at the boys in class, but I'm on break now." Doctor picked up on the cue his patient did not hear him, so he says, "Ah, yes, winter break. So where do you go?" Conversation back on track, always like that. Answer with a little extra info. Classroom at last. Library building for library classes. Vanessa Morrison is going to be an academic librarian. At least that is how she perceives her godlike being to be, controlling the universe for her path. Her friend stops to talk with her, pulls out her earbuds. Vanessa Morrison thinks to herself, "I don't have that luxury. I'd have to take out my hearing aid, put in the earbud, just one because it would be a waste to use one in my deaf ear, and every time see someone to talk with, take out earbud, put aid in, done talking, take aid out, put earbud in, and continue." Vanessa Morrison loves to be aware of her surroundings. In case someone yells her name, howls at her, jumps at her, most times just to hear something big, something small, the appreciation of hearing. Two friends talk near the entranceway, discussing a boy they have a crush on, a football player who's handsome, built, buff, dazzling long hair, smile to conquer, maybe a sensitive smile. Word is, he's a poet. Friend, so you want to ask him out? Vanessa Morrison, I thought you were. Friend, come on, you know V. I've got a man. Yes, another football player and a discus thrower, a huge goof, sweet and caveman-ish, Neanderthal, huge sweetie, my huge sweetie. Farts a lot. Vanessa Morrison, yeah, that's right, gosh, I barely see you these days. So what can you tell me about this man? You know, my hormones are crazy now, getting excited thinking about his body and sweat on mine. Is he single? Details. But you gotta hurry, I believe I got class. Unlike you, all those fools who don't go to school got no class. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Wait, I got an A in that class. I can afford to be late. The two female friends gab away for another 15 minutes about fashion, boys, monthly cycles, school. Friend, I am sure I can get his phone number. We can go on a double date, gangbang, 4-way, just messing. The usual dinner and a movie. Try bowling, just a movie. Maybe at someone apartment, scary movies, popcorn, porn, whatever the world wants to view. You can choose. Vanessa Morrison. Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. I'm down. Just let me know. Text me and please, please, whispers the following. Stay away from Dick. You don't want to end up pregnant like your siblings before trapped in a cycle of false life, thinking babies are everything. Friend. Like, hell no, I ain't gonna be ghetto fab. Life is too short for that. By the way, I heard you killed your mom and stepdad. Vanessa Morrison feels dizzy, queasy, hot, ready to vomit. What? Huh? How? I'm confused. Why did you say that? Friend. Say what, V? You don't look so well. You need to see someone, like now, or go home. Vanessa Morrison. No, I heard it. You said something about my mom and stepdad. Friend. V, look at me. I said nothing. I didn't even know you had a stepdad. But I heard, even though you can barely do that. You prima donna whore, stuck up, snobby little miss, goody two-shoes, too good to suck a dick, little whore. Isn't that what he said? He was about to stick his dick in your pussy hole, give you a good time until... That concludes today's reading of Haunted Hearing Aid, Volume 1, Evil is Here. Now, on to Hearing Aid on, Hearing Aid off. We got the 1994 Italy versus Mexico, which ended in a tie, 1-1. The game was very boring. Italy should have had more goals. Mexican goalie had a very, very colorful shirt. I give that a hearing aid off. Bad Company, the very best of Bad Company. Pretty easy listening. No complaints on that end. So I give that a hearing aid on. Black Stone Cherry, Screaming at the Sky. That album hurt my hearing aid. So I give that a hearing aid off. Scream 7. Yes, I actually went to the theater. It was discount movie nights, you know. Anyways, I actually wish Stu was actually in there, not the AI Stu, evil Shaggy. The story worked. It was just like good old-fashioned horror. They kept it simple. It wasn't, overly complicated. And just, brought back that old-fashioned horror magic. Give that a hearing aid on. Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. I looked at who the artists were. It wasn't Ozzy. I just don't think the voice worked. The singer's voice just doesn't work. So that gets a hearing aid off. Get some coffee here. Nice cold coffee. Alan Parsons Project. Turn of a friendly card. Well, it was unremarkable noise. So I give that a hearing aid off. Black Pumas, Chronicles of a Diamond. I thought that was funky. The vocals were sweet. Hearing aid on. Toys with Robin Williams. That was a very artsy film and lots of bad acting. They did show a couple G.I. Joe's unopened boxes. That was cool. Give that a hearing aid off. Black Keys, Ohio Players. I felt like the album was very experimental sounding, but not really making me want to be like, oh yeah, good tunes. I want to keep listening. So that gets a hearing aid off. Gung Ho with Michael Keaton. That Chairs guy and John Turturro. I thought it was funny. I like the the blending of the cultures, the Japanese management style, which I read about in one of my PhD classes, and it was nice to see the blending and how the cultures conflicted and the American way, Japanese way. hearing aid on. Albert Bouchard. Imagine those three, Mutant and Reformation, I think. It was weird music. They had a Godzilla song. It was just no good. I give that a hearing it off. Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. And I had the first time seeing this. And it was a good teenage drama movie with, music, coming of age, suicide, being gay, and, what teenagers deal with. I remember that time. Never want to go back to being a teenager simply because I had to work my butt off and everything. Sports, academic, just being, So I give that. Oh, they also showed Broken Sergeant Slaughters from Slaughter's Marauders. So I give that a hearing aid on. David Bowie, Best of Bowie. That was, I liked the variety because there were just some songs I didn't even know he sang. I had some of the 70s, like disco songs. Even the songs I weren't familiar with, they're still good. And it's definitely better to listen to Dancing in the Streets with Mick Jagger than watching that music video. Did you ever watch that music video? Horrible, horrible. Dancing in the Streets, it was like they cannot dance. They're just awful dancers, and their fashion was terrible. But this album gets a hearing aid on. Sydney White. Oh man, had Amanda Bynes. I used to love her, watching her in movies. She was one of those tomboyish girls, pretty, and can hang with the guys. And anyways, it was a good twist on Snow White, the Seven Dorks. And then they were playing for speaking of Seven Dorks, they were playing for they're betting on cards, and they had a Cobra Commander was over there. Good old Cobra Commander. That gets a hearing aid on. Benson Boone, American Heart. All I remember is the picture on the cover and back. He was shirtless. Other than that, the music, unforgettable. Hearing aid off. Bon Jovi, Forever. Too country for me. Nothing really sounded good to my hearing aid. So it's not forever because it's already forgotten. Hearing aid off. That concludes today's podcast. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed losing an hour. And goodbye.